Print Your Games, the podcast about what's new and awesome in 3D printing for gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Perram, and I'm joined by
Kristen Sowards, also known as Seventh Mastery.
Oh, and thank you all for joining us. And we do apologize for last week. I fell ill and was unable to make the stream. And because I'm the one that makes the tech go, it meant that the tech couldn't go.
It
But I'm
would have
feeling
been
much.
really bad if I had tried. I might have been able to get something going. It probably would have devolved into a TikTok live stream of painting.
Hey, that'd be great. I mean, I want to do more painting live streams at this point. I just want to do more painting. Like, I'm just now that I'm not working two jobs, I have evenings free now, and it's this weird.
Yay.
It's this weird thing. I just don't know how to deal with it. Oh gosh. And I have been like really hype about like so many really cool minis are coming out lately, and there's all these cool games coming out to play these minis with. And of
Indeed.
course, like, of course, like my work, I'm wanting to play hour games, and we're doing a lot of play testing there that I can't talk anything about. And
Super
it's this
secret.
whole, it's like I want to just like Scrooge McDuck into a whole pile of minis with my paintbrush held out in front of
I
me.
suspect even with Tenacious in there, you'd get some breaks that would be rather pointy and uncomfortable.
If we print them entirely out of Tenacious, they become bouncy balls.
Oh, okay. So we kind of like, but would you know? It would
That
still
would be an
probably hurt.
incredibly expensive money bin.
That would be probably
Yeah.
more expensive than money, maybe. No?
I don't know.
I mean, bills. Bills
Oh yeah, yeah.
would be more dense, I suppose. But yeah,
But like also like the money bin was like gold bullion or gold coins or some nonsense. So
yeah.
yeah. So we're not 3D printing money. That would be a weird way to go things. Although actually, there's some really fun fantasy coin STL sets out
Yes,
there
there
available for
are.
free, and also like from different creators. And I've always wanted to have like if you remember like a group called Campaign Coins,
Yes, I do
like
remember that.
they the physical cool coins, and one of the coolest things I own as an RPG creator. Stall for a second. I'm gonna go grab it.
Okay. I was just saying that when I was at a convention recently, they had Water Deep's Silver Moon currency, which you hear described, you don't really think about. But I saw this bowl of moon-shaped coins that were actually little
Ooh.
crescents, and I was like, oh, I guess that is what it would look like. But you don't really,
Hmm.
you know, so
Yeah.
that's that sort of detail. I don't do a lot of player sized props,
Hmm.
and I think it's cool because there's a lot of STL companies now that are doing like you can get the wand of Orcus and it's like a big honking wand, and you can
Right.
get like swords or goblets. Loot does like goblets and mugs a lot, but yeah, I haven't done that sort of player scale prop very often. But what you
Oh
get?
yeah. I love player props. But this is not this is a prop, but isn't a prop. This is actually a practical game item. Campaign Coins makes this what it
Mm.
is it's a compass rose, like a metal, really ornate compass rose made out of copper.
So you can put on your map and actually give the
Yes.
orientation of the map.
It's
I
like
like
so
that.
when I'm drawing out my map or put down my game mat and they're like which way's north, I just slap this thing down. North
Bam.
is that way.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I
looks
like it.
awesome. It's real cool. It's neat in the hand,
So
and
does
like
someone
just
have an
solves
STL
a
of something
problem.
similar? I can talk.
I would hope so. I would hope so because this is really handy. And
If David, Don One Don, or James knows of an STL file for a Compass Rose printout, you can put it in
howdy,
chat
y'all.
because you're all in chat right now.
Yeah. So welcome James. Welcome Donlon. Welcome David. So yeah, there's great STL. Like there's so much cool props and stuff out there that it would really. I've always wanted to. I At one point in time I wanted to run a Pathfinder game where we tracked all gold with campaign coins, and like I went to Gen Con with like a pocket full of cash to buy those coins. And when I did just the mental gymnastics of what I would actually need and how we would actually have to track this stuff with those physical coins and little leather coin bags, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Oh, this is a terrible idea. This is just going to get untenable real fast." they do make it possible because like besides the one gold piece, one silver piece, one copper pieces, they make like 10 gold pieces, platinum
As
pieces,
long
and
as you had platinum pieces and multi-denominations, because we always used trade bars was
hmm
the idea, and it was like 1,000 GP worth
yeah,
of
they make little. They
platinum.
do make the little trade bars that say 1,000 and like
Yeah, yeah.
10,000 and 100,000 and 20,000s,
That
and
might make it possible.
yeah. I mean, if you get enough of that, like I would, you just like you get your little monopoly bin full of cash, and but then it's like it's a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time spent. Um, that maybe not the best payoff and stuff. And so I ultimately went away with that. And honestly, anymore, I've been wanting to lean more into a more like part of me thinks that like this is mutants and masterminds corrupting my soul is what it is.
There's nothing
And
wrong
there's
with Mutants and
other
Masterminds.
yeah. Is I'd like to play in more games where you just the money isn't so much you don't track accounting.
Hmm.
It's just your character has a wealth stat and it's
Yeah,
like
you just have your resource
struggling
stat, and
or
you're just
well
like,
off.
I rolled today, and today I had enough liquid cash. Yeah, sometimes
hmm
that's nice to just get dispense with the accounting for sure.
Because
Not to
that's how it
mention,
works in
yeah.
stories, right? Like the rich superhero just flexes the bank account, and
Well,
it's
and
just
if
like they're
you're
using a superpower to
yeah,
solve the
exactly. If you're
problem.
honest, it is a superpower in those games for sure. Especially when you can, gosh, when you can get a hideout. Now you're going to be geeking out on means masterminds, which of course is going to like circle me back to the fact that I still don't have a consistent, other than like C27, nobody's really making much
I know,
supers
like
minis.
come on, STL creators out there. We need more superhero themed stuff, especially stuff to support superhero games that aren't just like making another Captain America statue, which is cool. Those of you like Photos Mint, go to town, make those awesome statues. I'm not saying you stop. I'm saying, hey, we've got a ton of Warhammer stuff. We've got a ton of D&D stuff. Maybe we could use some like what I really want is for like Hero Forge to just like throw the full superhero kit into it or one of
Hmm.
their competitors to
Yeah,
just
Eldritch
like
Foundry maybe.
yeah
Yeah.
to go like full city of heroes and just like deck out your
Gosh,
heroes
I
like
wasted so much time with that character
and
creator.
I would want a henshin set so that I could like get my Kamen Rider going or my Super Sentai going. Oh
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like it's a lack for sure. And like the fact that I'm still desperate, like when is it DM Stash this month had a guy who comes on this big, huge, fiery, like swirly magic base.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, there's a thought. I like David's comment right there. You should put that up on screen.
Oh
Um,
gosh, I
but
can't.
it's one of the coolest energy flight bases I've seen ever. And it, again, it's just one random piece of this Elven Mage mini.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I was just like so excited to see it because I'm going to be able to repurpose it for other minis. And the Archmage it comes with is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bagging
Yeah.
on D
Mm-hmm.
Stash. It's really cool. Although super fragile because I actually fused them in uh was it Object Maker or something? I don't know. I fused them in there and woof, it was such a teeny contact point that I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually kind of thinking maybe gluing it with a peg is a better idea because it's going to
Yeah.
break less often.
I understand. This is more advice to 3D sculptors that might be listening. I understand that we have a bunch of freedom now that we are in this medium that we don't have to worry about undercuts or how you're going to manage to get a three-piece mold around this thing, and you don't have to slice your stuff into 1,000 pieces. You don't have to design on the flat plane so that the vulcanized rubber works with it anymore. All this freedom that we didn't have before 3D printing was an option. Gravity still exists,
It
and the
does.
tensile strengths of these resins are known to be brittle. Like there's so many like dark elf minis that I love, like the like war dancers and stuff, where it's just like their pinky toe is like gracing a blade of grass, and that's the only thing holding it up.
I printed some Heroes Infinite sword dancers,
Uh-huh.
and he's balancing on his cloaks,
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh.
just like this his loincloth tassel and his cloak, and the contact points are decent, but I moved him over
hmm
to a different base, and I was like 1 millimeter probably not quite
Oh
attached
no.
enough, and it
hmm
snapped off the second. It was just as brittle as my supports and popped right off. But I have to say, sometimes you get a perfect balance,
hmm
and this right here.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Is it
Uh,
Griffin?
yeah, Kristen is holding up a griffin right now with that is flying on a with its wing is just gracing a group of foliage, and basically it's vertically up, like wing down, wing
I think
up.
it's actually splashing in water as it like flies
Oh
by water.
wow, that
But
is such a cool mini.
it's so kinetic and so cool. It's a White Wolf
Oh,
Tavern. I actually went back. I missed this release because I was dumb and didn't pay attention to that month and missed it.
mm-hmm.
But totally worth it. Because I had the tribe discount for 50% off and got it.
Oh,
But you get 6 poses for them, by the way, so it was
oh my
way worth it.
gosh.
But
White Werewolf is like one of the
yeah,
like needs more appreciation. They do such amazing minis. They
but
do
yeah,
such
that
amazing
it
work.
stands on that wingtip. Like I'm trying to put it back in frame. You can see the wing there.
Hmm.
It's standing on that, and so it solves. It's this amazing sculpt that also solves one of my biggest complaints: the verticality, so that it's not hitting other minis on your table. And that is going to be a jaw dropper this weekend for sure.
So beyond just doing so we have this is an episode where we have some news to talk about
News,
that will get us into things.
yeah,
Let's first talk about the fun stuff.
fun
New
stuff.
printers. We
New
love talking about
printers.
new printers.
I like new
We
printers.
love new printers. Creality, who has been doing the Halot series, has come out swinging with a new competitor in the mid range in the mid size format, which anymore I am thinking is like becoming the format now. Like the like
Saturn
before when the Saturn
ish.
first launched, it was like there was a learning curve. The larger printers had a little bit more difficult time printing compared to the smaller printers. You had to slow down the speeds, or you had the room. There was just more flex in the FEPs. This was before FEP2 came around. That was much stronger. So there was a learning curve. So at that time, I made the recommendation that Saturn's not be your first printer. It should be
Right.
your second printer. In that, to learn resin printing, get something like a Mars 2 or a Mars 3
Yeah.
or an Anycubic, Photon. There's like lots of really great on the small side. Those 6 inch screens that are really nice. Those 5.5, 6 inch screens are really good. But now with like the Saturn 2, the Saturn 8K, Anycubics, I forget the name of the Anycubics one, the Megas.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
Photon X.
Okay, yeah. And the Creality is coming out. They had the Harlot, which was a small size printers, and now they came out with the Halot Mage, and this really looks like a compelling printer. So there's so many features on this one that I'm kind of tempted to pull the trigger on buying one of these myself to replace my Saturn.
It has one feature, I'm putting quotes around, that I was a little surprised by, though.
Okay. So going off the bat, it is an 8K resolution printer on a 10.3 inch LED. So this is really similar to the Saturn 2 or the Saturn 8K. So like that really cool 27 micron, like higher resolution than is possible to achieve through molding.
Mm-hmm.
Is there. It's got its enclosure is a flip top lid
Do like
instead of
that.
something you remove. That is really that's I'm jealous of the Anycubic team, because like I love my Saturn, but I always feel like, where do I put this? I pull it off with my handle, and like, where do I set this down? And it just gets in the way. Built-in air purifiers, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, there's also a pro model, but I'm just going off the normal one. Built-in air purifiers, and gosh, what was the other options? Anyway, uh okay, so that's pretty much the rundown of the major features on this one. And it's like a love letter list of all the features I want in a printer this size. Its build volume is, where's the build volume? 228 by 128 by 230, which is fairly
Sure.
decent. It's a
It's
little bit bigger
short.
than the Saturn. It is short.
That was my kind of like, what? And it's I love that they call it the compactest.
Oh my gosh, you're right. They call it the compactness.
It's like, I'm not sure it's a word, but even if it is, it's an
You
awkward
know
one.
what? If you got it, like if you're forced into that corner, go for it. Like I very rarely print anything that just goes the full build volume. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So yeah. So we're having people talk about like ask what the price is. The pre-sale for the Halot Mage is $3.99, which is about
Ooh.
$70 more than Saturn 8K. But you know, it's got a great set of features on it, and I think that like it's just like it's a really good. This would be a great option for just about anybody getting started. Crealities is a great brand. The Halot printers have always been very reliable. Um, I
I'm
know a
just
whole
glad
lot of
you're
people
you're
that really
talking
prefer
about
it.
this because I can't say Creality and Halot without changing it to Harlot.
Oh,
I try, but it's just yeah, my brain says Harlot. Anyway,
the Pro model has is tuned immediately for zoom speeds, like right off the
nice.
bat. I'd be surprised if you can't just zoom the other one, honestly. Just
Probably.
manually path that in. Evidently has an improved light source, has a resin fill and withdrawal automatic system into it.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
that's that's neat. So just a little bit more pro features on it.
How much does
And
it run compared to
I'm
the?
looking for the price.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, it is not saying. It's not saying how much it is. That's a bad sign, guys. Oh gosh, I thought it was like $200 more, but I don't know for sure.
Hmm.
Let's go back. What can you buy the Pilot Pro here? No, no,
Not yet.
not yet. Okay, so we don't know. We don't know Pilot Pro price. I thought it was 600, but I might be wrong. Either way, the Hollet itself is the one that I was mostly excited about here. I like the features on it. It's like the built-in air purifiers, the 8K screens, the really nice enclosure. Creality has like really good customer support. David Wickham in chat is confirming that the Pro model is
$200
$599.
more.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I expected. Um, and so like this is a great intro option. And so like the other printers in this class that I would look at would be like, you know, this, like I said, the Saturn 8K, the Anycubic Mega 8K, you know, those sort of things. And with that 8K resolution, it really does is like I don't mind my Saturn's 4K resolution. Like the resolution would not be the reason I would want to make an upgrade, but because the 4K resolution on the Saturn is still pretty nice.
Yeah.
But there is a noticeable difference with the 8K resolution. That, but I only really think that the noticeable difference is on the 8K resolutions is on these mid-size or higher. For those tiny ones, with the 6-inch ones, like I know that there's a Photon 8K out there and a
Hmm.
few others that are like the small printer with the 8K screens on them, and that's just a waste. That just like yeah, it's super fine detail that you will never see.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause you're
like you can
printing
pull the microscope out and you'll see. But like
little
it,
guys.
it it does help with these bigger screens because a bigger screen needs that little bit more resolution. For those smaller screens, a 4K is I think really the sweet spot. And of course, 8K is like bare minimum when you start talking about like the chonkers, like the 12-inch, 14-inch, 17-inch screens that rival like FDM print bed sizes. You would want 8K at a minimum.
Yeah.
And speaking of um, FDM printing and really expensive printers, Kristen, you were pointing me to the Prusia Mark IV. What got you excited about the Mark IV? It just
Uh,
came out like a couple of weeks ago.
yeah. I mean, just I am still excited by any dual filament situation right now.
Mm-hmm. This does
Um,
up to 5.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, it's a price tag. De-excited me quite a bit.
It's a little on the okay. Prusia Original Mark IV is an upgraded to the Prusia, the original Prusia. This is the 4th generation of it, of course. This has always been like the gold standard of FDM printers, just like absolutely rock solid, well known, well supported, and it's like these printers are the ones you're going to see in class. Like if I go to a
Yeah.
classroom, they've got a Prusia. This
Yeah.
they're also like really heavy in the open source and supporting the print community. They're one of the main reasons that things like the Ender and the other Ender clones exist. It's like based off of a lot of designs that they helped facilitate
Yeah, the print
and help
quality on it
encourage.
looks fantastic, but I also
Yeah.
was a little nervous because the last time I looked at anything from Prussia, you just get a box of parts. So I'm
Okay.
hoping this is
If you
more
want to
together.
save a little money, okay, the default price for this printer is $1,099 for it assembled. And if you want to save
Ah,
money, at $800 you can get the kit and build it yourself out of
there
parts.
we go. $300. Oh, nah, but it's me and FDM. No, it would be
Now,
worth.
if I'm buying this, I'm buying it assembled.
Right.
I'm not. I don't. I'm not going to do the. I'm not going to get my little printer Lego set out. All of you FDM bros out there, I love you to death. Thank you so much for keeping this hobby alive. And like speed benchies are like a sport now that I'm addicted to. Are you familiar with speed benchies?
Yes, this one actually cranks one out in like under 20 minutes, I think, didn't it?
Like I want like the sub 2 minute benchies. Just give me the sub 2 minute benchies.
What's that going to look like? You would have to be with working so fast. It can't have good resolution. 2 minutes.
Like there's some leeway as to what counts as a benchy at that speeds, but it has to
Yeah.
still resemble the benchy. So the features of the new one that really okay. So first we're talking about standard size build plate, like the 220 by 220, where it's got support for dual filaments. It can be upgraded to handle 5 different distinct filaments at once, which is awesome. Um, it's got 25-point mesh bed leveling, and they really flex on that.
Yeah.
The screen where they show the entire build plate as one glossy plastic surface is just like I'm kind of drooling looking at that. I'm
It's
like,
weirdly
oh my gosh,
satisfying,
how
isn't
do
it?
you do? I've
That's
never
actually
had a
the
first layer that good before.
ever. And I was watching that and it was weird. I was like, have I become this person that can just watch a video of like an entire bed being printed? But
Yes, you
it's
can. You
it's
are that
weird.
person now.
It's weird.
Yeah. Their 20-minute benchy in draft mode looks better than anything I've ever printed on any mode.
Yeah.
Um, like there's already some reviews of it in the wild. I know Uncle Jesse's got one of these. Like it punches. It delivers on its promises. Except for keep in mind that some of the features like that would make the 20-minute benchy right now are not currently available on the shipping model. That is a feature that will be patched into the printer later, because the feature that makes that possible is input shaping, where it is predicting the effects of physics as it moves that print head at speed. It knows it needs to not just the pure G code of go this many millimeters, turn immediately left does not work because print head has mass. It will overshoot because of physics. So when you have input shaping, it models those physics into the instructions and intentionally changes it to not be what would be accurate in the simulation if a printer was able to move perfectly without any sort of outside force. So it takes in effect like what's actually going to happen at that mass moving at that speed, and it compensates for that into the G code so that you actually are able to round that corner like it's freaking initial D.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the most exciting. Having built-in input shaping on this thing, 5 colors, prints, um, mesh bed leveling, comes assembled. Like, yes, it's a pricey printer, but like worth, absolutely worth.
Yeah, if I had the cash.
Yeah, I don't have this cash either.
No,
I'm not
no.
gonna get this one.
No.
So we've got 2 really cool printers from people we don't usually talk about.
Yep.
We have been talking about Prusia slicers lately, so and also Prusia is like is the people running printables.com now, which is like the better option of the 2. Oh, the printer, the Prusia slicer and the printer now is integrated into printables, so you can just, if you look up an object on printables, there's a button there to send to printer.
Oh, neat.
I don't know how much I'd use that, but
We are living in the
you know.
future.
And then the next little bit of news is some gaming news.
Okay.
So I like Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah,
You like Warhammer, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Especially
Do you,
demons.
yeah. Do you like the old fantasy Warhammer, like the square bases and that
Mm,
sort of stuff? No, not really.
not so much. Well, okay. Here's a
Mm-hmm.
sad confession.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in the gaming stores when that was being sold,
Uh-huh.
and I have a colored impression by
Oh.
some individuals.
Okay. So, for those of you who aren't up to date on the Warhammer side of gaming, in about 2015, Warhammer Fantasy was retired, which was the original game of Warhammer. Had been going on for years and years and years. It is a little rank and flank game with fantasy minis on square bases in ranked rows with big
They
monsters on
blew it up,
rectangle
right?
bases. And
They
they ended the world. They boom blew up the whole world. Bunch of retcon stuff happened. Sigmar and Karl Franz merged together to make new Sigmar, and like Age of Sigmar, the multi-dimensional hyper fantasy game, comes out, which replaces the rank and flank movements with something more akin to Lord of the Rings or Warhammer 40k, which is what people dubbed mass skirmish,
sure.
which is like lots of things on round bases. I play Age of Fantasy a lot from OPR. Disclaimer: I work for them. It's that kind of style because my friends like it. It's more simplified movement. The games play faster. I get why they would want to go in that direction, but over the years, there's a big hole in the market where that tactical movement, because it really is satisfying to model that like actual ranked troop battling. There's been a hole that like several other games have come in to fill. So like Kings of War, which is a game I absolutely love. You've heard me gush about Kings of War
I
a
have
lot on
heard
this
that.
podcast. It kind of came in to fill that gap. It actually had been out for many years before the world blew up, and then the world blew up, and it got a whole lot of players. There's been a lot of fan efforts to bridge that gap. And the 3D printing community has been supporting those like crazy. Like Warhammer Armies Project is one of them, but probably more popular is the Ninth Age, and the key there is Eighth Edition Warhammer Fantasy was the last edition before the whole world blew up. It
Mm,
wasn't not everybody loved that edition. It
okay.
has a mixed opinion. I never played it, so I have no opinion. The only time I played the game was Sixth Edition,
Mm.
a little bit, then again I was borrowing other people's armies, so I wasn't like at one point in time I bought a Wood Elf army and put it together and never played with it, uh,
That's a
and then
lot to
sold it to my
buy
game store.
to not. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yikes.
yeah. Sold it back to my game store. Um, and it's fun. But Ninth Age is, because it's the ninth edition basically, and Ninth Age completely free, fan supported, beautiful wiki. Go check it out. It's absolutely worth your attention to go look at it. Ditto with Warhammer Armies Project. It's a completely free fan version out there. Also worth checking out. Uh, and I guess Oathmark. Oathmark is like the newest game to from Joe McCullough, and it's like really focuses more on like storytelling and blending and making your own kingdoms and stuff in that rank and
Hmm.
flank battle space. But there's always been an inkling, especially since Total War Warhammer came out on the PC and took that old world and just fleshed it out and made it this amazing computer game strategy that has like the rank and flank movement and the masses of troops and all those old characters, but like instead of like the art and the models from that era, which were getting pretty long in the tooth even before the game was retired.
Yeah.
It's like brand new, beautiful art, and I love the art for the Total War series. So the world's gotten super, super popular, and Warhammer then last year or maybe the year before announced the old world. They're going to bring back Warhammer Fantasy as Warhammer the Old World, kind of filling in the Horus Heresy slot for the Age of Sigmar game, basically. So you
Huh.
have Age of Sigmar, the current mainstream game, and then like the kind of retro back in the past game, the old world is going to be there, kind of like Warhammer 40k, and then the retro-y game that kind of plays like 6th edition. Horus Heresy's an option that you can play.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Overworld's coming out, and one of the things they have announced is that yes, it's going to be square bases. And so like all the old school fans are just like, yay, square bases! Yay, Bretonia's back! They're making new models for Bretonia. They of course said they're making sure to be able to support all the old models if you've got ancient collections. Of course, the 3D printing space has been supporting Warhammer Fantasy is that
The whole
giant gap
time.
in the market
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time. It's like it's probably the most supported option out there. And so like these are all new Bretonians right here that like really look really sweet. Here's some more new Bretonians that are on Pegasi. Like so yeah, they're on square bases and stuff. But then they announced, and this is what's tying into here, that hey, the standard base size for Warhammer Fantasy wasn't a 25 millimeter circle like you use for D&D. It was a 20 millimeter square, 2 centimeters square. And even back in the day, that was a tight space.
Yeah.
And the models at the whole time, like scale creep is a thing. People have been getting bigger and bigger models. And even though Warhammer still insists that all of its games are 28 millimeter, some of them Bretonians been eating their Wheaties.
Yeah. I
And
guess so.
so when they said the Old World's new bases, they just announced this week 25 millimeter square is going to be the new standard size. And so the internet is in an uproar, which I don't understand entirely, because yes, the base size changed, and it kind of makes sense because at 25 millimeter square, if you have models on 25 millimeter circles, and if you've been playing Age of Sigmar, you do, because
Yeah.
those models are in 25 millimeter circles. It means that those same models can suddenly get their butts into little movement trays like the ones I make and give away
Right.
for free on my printables page or Thingiverse page, so you can just come download these. And you can just put them on this little tray and then play with them in Warhammer, the old world. Great. And then you can take them out of the tray and go play Age of Sigmar with them. Of course, they're going to want to support that choice.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are salty because they're like, hey, my models are on 20 millimeter squares and I'm going to have to rebase this. And there's like some pain remembering of the people that were like, they rebased their square models on the circles to use their fantasy models in Age of Sigmar,
Right.
which is still a thing. And so I can understand because rebasing really sucks.
That's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, you risk breaking your model that you painted. Like all that work you did on your base is basically getting thrown away. The best way to do it is if you're on the old plastic, is you have to basically like destroy the base. You take a pair of nippers and you clip all around the feet, and then you trim the feet and then of the model, and like it's a messy process, and you're always worried about damaging the paint, damaging the model. It really sucks. So I understand not wanting to rebase, and so 3D printing came to the rescue. Because
Yeah.
the second they announced that, like literally within an hour of that post going up, Highland Miniatures immediately responded with their square base adapters, which just little movement tray that has little 20 millimeter square slots spaced out just enough to be
25.
filling that 25 millimeter frontage. And they have 25 millimeter base all by its lonesome, a single base adapter if you just want to print out one of those for every one of your models and just nestle them in there. I recommend using magnets. It's a great way to do things like that. Or like what's becoming really popular, these little rows of like 5 rows, and I've seen them at 5x4, 5x2s. I like using 5x2s myself for these sort of things. Like immediately. And then like they're not the only ones. Like all the groups are just like flooded with like people like, here's my base adapter, here's my base adapter, here's one band of MDF. it's just a great way to handle this problem, and it's like, it's just an example of, hey, here's a very weirdly specific gaming problem that's got a lot of people upset and a big problem to solve, and boom, 3D printing solves that problem before people even wake up from the announcement right away. And that's why I love this hobby so gosh darn much.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I still look at that and I see AOE target fodder. So rank and files for me they're just gonna be burning in fireballs. But
I mean, that's great. Yeah. Put the fireballs down that lane. That's part of the fun of this. There's just something really satisfying about tactically moving that front line and positioning all the troops and getting your flanks covered and your charge angles ready and just controlling the battlefield and like looking up old like war tactics, how they did it in real life, and realizing that these games are actually modeled to make those historical battles actually accurate. And it's fun. It's a layer that you don't get with everything can just blob and move. And like I said, I love to play the blob and move games. I'm not bashing that, but it's a different feel. It's a different feel when you have to adjust that frontage. It's kind of why I do like Kings of War. I do like Age of Energy Regiments. I do like Oathmark. I like those games that let me just very quickly control like the movements, and I'm moving my entire army across the field like it's a chess match instead of slamming my giant horde of orcs straight into the front line.
I don't know. I kind of like the satisfaction of the individual movement, but that's me.
Oh, so that's the news I got.
Yeah, that's pretty good news.
Yeah, you told me you're going to be doing a cool thing soon.
This weekend, yes.
Ooh,
I'm participating in they're calling it a world record attempt, and we talked about other events that have been similar, but it is an attempt to have the largest simultaneous Dungeons and Dragons games running for a single event.
Okay.
And I know it's got close to 1,300 people, and then it's going to have open tables too. So I think it might do it, because we were talking about 1,500 probably was the benchmark, but I also know that wasn't technically D&D. So. Right. I don't know, but it's going to be a big, massive campaign. It's called Dead Wars. If you're anywhere near Provo, Utah, the Provo Mall will be the site location, and there should be open tables theoretically. I worry that promise will not be fulfilled if 500 more people show up. We'll see. I'll have space for one extra player at my table.
So you're game mastering for this one.
Yes, I am. I was going to go play with friends, but they had a shortage of DMs. Shock. And so I volunteered to DM.
Square Peg says they're near that thing. Square Peg, get down there. Get down there and play. Yeah, maybe grab Kristen's seat.
I think there might be still one at the table. I don't know. But that's been kind of one of my many 3D printing projects right now, because I did get the DM packet and I've been trying to fill some holes so that I have all the minis I need. I don't want to say too much, but it's called Dead Wars. So you can imagine there's going to be dead things. And it's 5th level. Any Wizards content is okay. And if you're at my table, probably anyway. So it should be fun though. It's interesting. What's that?
You bringing any 3D printing to the table?
That's actually where the Griffin came from. There might be very sickly Griffins involved. Serving the army. Oh, evil! It's a big siege scenario.
Take that beautiful Griffin and deadify it.
I'm gonna deadify it. Yeah, I think it's gonna get some Necron glow on it, and it's gonna hopefully be like a faintly luminous, sick looking Griffin. We'll see though. I'm going to try to keep it kind of pretty, but yeah, it's big, save the city from, I probably can say Vecna, but yeah, anyway, in case I can't, I'll just whisper it, Vecna. Anyway, one of the kind of feels fairly gray hockey to me. But I think technically they're not allowed to use certain terms maybe, but I don't know. Maybe they are. It's Vecna, which is still kind of also in that ballywick. Who cares though? It's a DMing game. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah. They're not selling it, so.
Okay. What all are you bringing besides the? Can you give us the rundown of the cool toys you're bringing?
I am trying to build. Part of it involves a gate protection
Mm.
scenario, so I'm going to use a combination of 3D printed and other terrain pieces I have to build the city gate.
Ooh.
And there's going to be one of those. I I'm not sure I'm gonna have time to print. There's a bizarre number of wagons and animated ballista in it. So
Huh?
like, um, the good news is anything I say spoilery wise, there's random events, so you might not get these at your table if you end up going to it. But yes, I am going to probably be able to bring a large portion of my plague demon army because
Mm.
undead ogres and undead zombie peoples, and maybe some priests. Oh, evil death god. But yeah, it should be there should be a pretty good spread there. I am also, because two of my players from one of my other games are coming, 3D printing a like, I think we're gonna use Haragon, but it's gonna be a mouse wild mage mini that I got from Duncan Shadow, I think.
Ooh.
And then a Legends of what is it? Not Sigmar. It's Legends of Sig something.
Mm-hmm.
Signum.
Okay.
There's a dark elf archer mini that I'm getting for the other player who's coming down. She's very excited by it. So of those, I'm also going to try to bring a smattering of just 3D printed adventures because I don't know what the other players are bringing yet. As long as I stay within the limits of 5th level, I'm just supposed to do whatever. It's kind of adventure league feeling to me on that level. But yeah, I'm getting to use a lot of terrain, which I'm excited by. And I definitely want more of a 3D feel because the idea that we're going to be in some city streets. I wish I had a few more buildings printed, but I'll probably throw in some Dungeons and Lasers, like side buildings, just to kind of flesh it out. But yeah, it should be really cool. A lot of combat.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, so and it's fairly fast paced. I think the encounter count is very aggressive, so it'll be interesting to see what we get in there because it's only 4 hours long.
So you have most of the stuff printed, or is your poor Saturn just like go in the town?
I need to go kick off another job because this one needs a brother, and I'm going to try to get. I think there can be up to 3 in one of the encounters, so I'm going to get those on there, and then I actually had a couple fails because base. I didn't support a base well enough, so I need to redo those minis. But yeah.
So how did you arrange the big griffin on its wing? Like, what orientation did it print?
Oh, it was diagonal face down, and it will fit
face down.
Face down. It actually fit on a Saturn build plate all fine, and I could actually fit 3 minis on each side of it. It was at an angle.
Okay.
But yeah, and it printed really slick. I'm still really impressed with my super bargain basement Sunlu. This doesn't have tenacious in it. Yeah, it's not
tenacious. No tenacious.
No tenacious in it. No, I'm actually out of tenacious. So.
Oh wow, is it fragile without tenacious?
I would say no, but I did have that like toe tip balancing high mage, and both of the prints of that broke. So it's more fragile than I'd like it. But I also just think it's just bad physics.
Elegoo has announced they're doing ABS 2.0, and I don't know what that's like. I want to see what that's like. In fact, I'm ordering 4 jugs of it because I also have a big 3D printing project I have to get to.
Oh, nice.
So we just announced OPR is going to go to Tabletop Minions Expo, which is a very small con that Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions puts together. And I need some practice to doing conventions. So very small con with a person that is very friendly to the company is a great choice. Great choice.
Good starter.
Yeah, good starter. So I am going to be heading on up there. I think it's like June 3rd through 4th, but it's the first weekend of June is when it is. So I'm going to be heading up there and demoing and showing off OPR. That means I need to print a whole bunch of stuff to make that happen. So I'm
paint it.
Painting it might not happen.
I'll be honest come on. With you. You can do it. I believe in you.
No, I can't. But
wow,
honestly,
like hard no.
Yeah, sorry. Like I might pull it off. I do not know. So I've got to get a couple of demo forces going and for the different games so I can show off the different games. And one of the other things is I need to. We're going to be giving away some minis. Like, hey, big surprise there. When we're going to have some giveaways, so I need to print the giveaway minis off. So I'm going to be getting 4 jugs of that Lagoon 2.0 stuff. Wisconsin, James. It's in Wisconsin.
I like Wisconsin for gaming events.
And I need to go. Like, I'm going to go there. So I'm going to be like, my little printer is just going to be burning it up, like tray after tray after tray of the mini I'll be giving away for it, and like all the demo armies. And then like I need to get that stuff printed soon, so I'm going to be ordering that real soon and hoping the shipping gets here. Because like if I am going to have a chance in heck of painting it, that's what's going to happen. But like I might end up like just cheating and doing like a colored Zenithal theme to each force.
Yeah, I was about to say colored Zenithal with you can kind of still use the slap chop approach with that, with just a little overbrushing and tones after that, and like especially if you did like something ghosty or undead, you could do a ton of them real fast.
Yeah.
Or
it's just like I those have to be on the clock hours because it's work related, and boy, there's a whole lot of things I need to do that aren't painting minis that could use those hours.
Fair enough.
But hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be up there. If you're in the area, come say hi, get your free minis, and look forward to seeing you all up there. Like it says, Tabletop Minions Expo. They have a website. Like attendance is super cheap. The hotel is like $41 a night just for the hotel in the venue.
That's
so
nice.
it's going to be a super cheap, super casual game day. 2-day drive for me to get to it, so that's not going to be fun. Like it's like 11.5 hours one way, but when you factor in stops, that becomes closer to 15 hours, which is more than I want to do in a single go. So I'm going to be spreading that out after 2 days of travel. David Wickham says they can't find the site.
He also says that
I always find it.
May 27th is when Speed Paint 2 is releasing. And all I can say about Speed Paint 2...
I still do not have mine.
I'm excited for it, but I hope restock is better. Because, man, supply chain and restock for the first generation Speed Paint has been rough around here.
He's not joking. Like, Google does not show any search results for it. What the heck's going on? Bing, can you save us?
It's a very, very elite convention. You only can get word of mouth invites.
Okay, if you Bing it, the website will come up. I don't know. Google is doing something weird with that.
Bing.
Literally, you search it, you only get their Twitter post on Google right now. It is crazy. I've been searching for that every day for the past few weeks because I've been planning this darn trip. I do not know what's going on, but yeah, it's tabletopminions.org/TMX is the address for the convention. So I do hope if there's any fans, I hope to see y'all there. I'll be wearing my OPR shirt and like.
David says he doesn't believe in Bing.
Oh, yeah. There's like a whole bunch of cool like indie focused stuff. Obviously because it's Tabletop Minions, especially like Space Station Zero is definitely going to be showed off there a lot because Uncle Adam was like in Vince Venturella will be there, and because they made that game, and they also made Rain in Hell. If you like your demons and skirmishy combat, you can. It's an all demon army where you're fighting over damned souls.
Ooh,
yeah,
that sounds fun. I was about to say, if I wasn't already committed to a much more expensive trip later in the summer, I would swing it. But
yeah, me and Kristen are going to Gen Con. It's gonna be fun.
The first time I've been
looking forward
in the modern era of plague. It'll be the first time I've gone.
I am a little bit worried about plague right now, and I need to talk with like oh my gosh, it's like
the last big show I went to. I got the plague at, so I'm a little nervous about it myself.
What is the current like industry expectation of like sending us into these environments to work, and then plague happens, and then you have to take a week off because you plagued?
Right. Well, And with Gen Con, the trip's so long, the possibility of getting Plague on day 1 or 2.
My roommate got it on got it during the trip. Who so spent like the whole week in the room with him, drove 8 hours in a car back and
Yikes.
forth with him while he had it and was showing symptoms.
Eek.
And nobody else got it from him.
Hmm.
2 weeks later, no, 3 weeks later, I got it because of some church ladies that brought it to church. Ouch.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well,
So that
here's
happened.
hoping for no plague
Yeah, hope no plague.
for any events.
Oh gosh. Will this be my chance to play my second minis game with Perram, David? You'll probably absolutely thrash me if you do. If you meet me at Gen Con, we can probably put a game together, David. Me and David met up once to play War Machine together, and he kicked my butt like completely. I was expertly dismantled by David, and I expect that would happen again.
Yeah.
I've been building up my chops though. I've been building up my wargaming skill set lately. So maybe I'll hold a better chance now.
I believe in you.
Don't feel bad
He
about it.
felt bad about
losing.
it? Wow, how bad did you lose?
Losing is not like completely dismantled my Signar army. Like it was not even close. I had a whole bunch of gun mages, which like is my favorite unit, and they hit real good. They shoot real good. And then I had the Black 13, which is like this elite gun mage unit that's just 3-man, and they all wear black, and they all have dual pistols and special powers. And they got deleted. They just nothing survived.
Very, very badly extra very, he says. Wow,
Yeah,
that must have been
it was
quite a thing.
it was something to see. I learned some lessons in that encounter. It wasn't fun. But no, I like when I play war games, I play them as what happened games, not like the craziness is going to happen, the randomness is going to happen. My guys are going to get torn apart. Like if I win, that's fun. If I lose, it's also fun. I don't really get I don't get very invested in the outcomes of these games. I just want to see the little models slam into each other, and then lots of casualties happen, and then fireballs go off, and ooh, look at all the terrain, and it's been a good time.
Fair enough.
Ooh, any shout outs, Kristen?
Only a couple days left for the big orc horde thing. So if you're going to do it, pull the trigger.
Good.
It's
Halfling
monolith.
armies going
Monolith
strong.
Arts. Okay.
Yeah. We shut. Did we shut that one out last episode?
We did. I think so. I'm just trying to remember the name of the company's name.
That's one gold piece.
That's right. But yeah, Monolith Arts was the other one, and that one's almost done. They also had they mentioned another project like Cyber Addiction. It looks like a cyberpunk campaign, and it's really big. I am gonna try to find it while you talk about whatever you're gonna talk about next.
Asgard Rising's got their new Kickstarter up.
Oh, Bandits. Yeah, just saw that.
We love Asgard Rising. They do really good minis. Especially if you like that whole Skyrim feel with like that sort of aesthetic. They're the perfect company for you. This is a humongous amount of bandits actually, and they do great little terrain under
the terrain pieces usually are really neat.
Looks like RN is helping them out with some donor pieces, which is great. RNE Studio is also one of my favorites. They do like a lot of really great anime stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a Fate fan, and they've got a Saber model that just is like great. So Cripple God Foundry's pledging in to help with this. That's really awesome. And yeah, go check out Bandits. It's great. They usually do the thing where that I always love to show up. I always recommend where you can go get previous campaigns. There's a lot of freaking bandits.
It's a lot. Yeah, and the add-ons for the old sets are usually really affordable.
Yeah, I'm going to see do they got the Basilisk. Yeah. They've got the add-on set. So if there's stuff from the old set you wanted, this is a great place. Those Griffins, they also have amazing Griffins.
Those look pretty good.
They're not posed as awesome as your super awesome Griffin. They've got Nightmare Spiders though. I'm always a fan of Nightmare Spiders. So
yeah, there's that.
Yeah. So definitely one I would recommend checking out is them. It looks like the all-in pledge is $30, $40, $40 for everything. 20 bucks if you just want the terrain, $30 if you just want the minis, and $40 to get all of it.
Yep. I am failing on my tracking down this cyber punk Kickstarter, but I know cyberpunk isn't a big genre, and it was mentioned in the Orchords one, and I was just trying to find it because I know people struggle to find them sometimes, and it's a really neat looking set. It's like cyber addiction or cyber.
Oh, another one I need to pledge out to. If you've seen the Mario movie, you'll have a love of this one. It's the Epic and stuff. We haven't shouted out to them in a while.
A little
They're
bit
doing
a while, yeah.
Waddlings. It's a whole set of penguin adventurers.
Oh, is it Tovar? Is that the D&D race that's just exploded? They were in the Spelljammer box set, and like everything in the Spelljammer box set being disappointing, they didn't get stats as playable. But it was like, you know, if anybody had been watching Starfinder and saw how popular Morlamaw were, then we should have known that playable penguins were going to be a thing, right? Because people love them.
Yeah. Epic stuff always have like really awesome like characters and expressive minis. They did amazing set of dwarves. That's kind of what they came onto the scene with, and then they did some awesome orcs and these penguins are just adorbs. Absolutely. That penguin fire mage is like the classic fire mage hat, just cackling as it holds up a fireball as big as its head. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
these look glorious, and I love the cute things.
I am not wrong. It is in fact called Cyber Addiction on Kickstarter, and it is a massive cyberpunk set. So yes, go look up Cyber Addiction if you are looking for some really cool. I'm tempted to get it just because they could be used for supers minis. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your penguins.
No, go ahead.
But they are adorable and speak for themselves. And just they very much have a little bit of like a Gundam vibe, like for the outside of the Gundam like tech suit armor stuff. For a little, just really neat. In fact, I shouldn't have looked at it again because maybe I want to back it, and I have no willpower.
You get your penguins for £15 or $19 US for the entire set, so it's a really cheap It's a really cheap buy-in. All right. With that said, if you want to follow more of what the show's doing, you can do so at printyourgames.com, where you'll find links to all of our past episodes, as well as to our socials and everything else we're doing. If you want to follow us, you can do so at youtube.com/Perram, facebook.com/printyourgames, twitter.com/printyourgames. Until next time, I'm Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Perram.
I'm Kristen Sowards, also known as Seventh Mastery, and don't forget to use your screen protector.